Let's talk about withdrawal of a marriage-based green card case. Hi, I'm Jim Hacking, immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in Chicago, St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. We want to talk about the withdrawal of the I-130 petition. The I-130 petition is what serves as the basis of lawful permanent resident status application filed by a foreign national. So in other words, when a couple gets married, the U.S. citizen or LPR sponsor files an I-130 petition for an alien relative, and sometimes they need to withdraw that case. And we're going to talk about everything that I know, everything in my brain about withdrawal of the I-130. So first, let's talk about how do you actually withdraw an I-130 petition. Well, what you do is you send a letter to USCIS. That's the easiest way. And so you want to send it as you send all things to USCIS by Federal Express so that you have proof of delivery. So if for whatever reason you need to withdraw your I-130 petition, you want to send it to the place where you originally sent your I-130 and the address of the office that is currently processing your I-130. So, a lot of times it'll be at a service center, and then if it's for adjustment of status, it will then go to the local field office, and you need to figure out where the case is pending. You might think about calling USCIS before you file the withdrawal so that you have the right place to send it to, but you want to blanket USCIS with it, and you want to make sure that you send them copies of it, that you have proof of delivery, and you have to make sure that they received it. Hopefully you get some kind of proof that they received it. Now, a lot of times they won't tell you that they allowed the withdrawal. Sometimes withdrawals will be pending for a really long time. Sometimes you don't even hear from them. So oftentimes, though, they will send you back a notice saying this I-130 petition has been withdrawn. What do you put in there? Well, you just send in the address, send in the case number, send in your name, and send in the name of the beneficiary and say, my name is Joe Brown. I filed an I-130 petition. The receipt is attached. It was filed on May 10th, 2024, and at this time, I wish to withdraw the I-130 petition. I don't think you need to put any reason why. I don't know that it's particularly helpful to put a reason. The fact is, if you're a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident and you have filed an I-130 petition, you have the right to withdraw that petition. So make sure that you put it all in writing, that it's signed, and that you send that off with a copy, like I said, of the receipt notice so that they have everything in front of them to allow for the withdrawal to occur. Now, let's talk about withdrawals in anger. So we get a lot of people who call our office and they're spitting mad at their spouse. They've gotten into some kind of a fight and they have sent off an angry letter saying all these bad things about their spouse. And they said, oh, she only married me to get a green card. Oh, she's a gold digger. Oh, he just wanted to come to America and that's why he married me. Or this marriage, I think he's cheating on me. I don't know that it was even a real marriage. And then they regret sending that withdrawal notice. And they do everything I just said. They send it by certified mail. They say all these bad things. And so you can see why it's so much better to just simply withdraw it. You don't have to give a reason. So by dumping on your spouse, that's going to make it impossible if you change your mind. And you would be surprised as to how many people actually reach out to our office and say, man, I wish that I hadn't withdrawn that case. I wish I hadn't said that my spouse is a hoe and sleeping around and only married me to get a green card. Those kinds of things are very, very damning, and they're a bell that you can't unring. Once you have said in writing that your spouse is a hoe or cheating on you or just married you to get a green card, those are all things that you can't take back. Once you put it in writing, it's sort of part of the record, and so it's going to be very, very hard for your spouse to get a green card if you decide to file a new I-130 petition. A lot of times people say, man, I did that in anger and I'd really like to undo it, and I haven't heard from USCIS. Should we keep going? Well, that's the real problem is you don't know if your case is over or not because they just sort of leave you in this limbo. From their point of view, it's better to not grant the withdrawal and just let you and your spouse be in this no man's land of having no real immigration status. The last kind of withdrawal that I want to talk about are cases in which they have a Stokes interview at the USCIS field office and they scare the crap out of the U.S. citizen or green card petitioner, the person who's has status and who's trying to get status, a green card for their spouse, and they separate the couple 99% of the time without a lawyer, and they berate, yell, scare, and cajole the U.S. citizen into signing a piece of paper that just says, I wish to withdraw my I-130. So even USCIS keeps it simple. You don't have to have a big explanation. So they'll say, oh, you're committing marriage fraud, or oh, you're going to go to jail if you try to proceed with this, or oh, that person only married you to get your green card. Look, we have evidence that their catting around on you, or that they have this other girlfriend back in Jamaica, right? And so they get you so mad or scared that you just, you're sort of scared, you're not there with an attorney, you don't have anyone to talk to, and you just sort of sign the withdrawal petition. That's a big, big problem. And when you do that, again, the case is over. And I've even had cases where the U.S. citizen withdrew the I-130 and didn't tell the spouse. They actually left the interview, and the U.S. citizen never even told the beneficiary that they had withdrawn the I-130, that they were so scared that they went ahead and did what USCIS scared them into doing because they thought they were going to go to jail. So it's a big old mess. I would suggest strongly that before you try to withdraw a case, that you talk to an attorney, that you not go to a green card interview without a lawyer, because a lot of those tricks and dirty things that they do don't happen when you have an attorney with you. And I just don't want you to do something that you regret. I don't want you to send a letter to USCIS that you regret. I don't want you to withdraw a case unless you're 110% sure that that's what you want to do. I think it's very important to let time pass. If you're really angry and wanting to write a letter to USCIS, just put it in a drawer for a day or two, see what happens, see if you and your spouse make up. We all get in fights with our partners, but obviously when you withdraw the I-130 petition, it has a much deeper and more serious consequence. If you're working on a marriage-based green card case and want to hire the best attorneys in town, give us a call, 314-961-8200. Email us, info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. If you're just looking for free resources, we have a ton of them. You can join our Facebook group, which is called Immigrant Home. We have over 15,000 immigrants in there talking about the immigration process. We have our YouTube channel. You can subscribe to it so that whenever we go live, you get a new update telling you that we've posted that video. You can send in the word show, text the word show to 314-470-3300, and you can join our Immigration Answer Show. That's a show that I do 3 or 4 times a week, where it's just me answering immigrants' questions for an hour, and we'd love to have you join us there. It's free, and if you text that word show, you will get a link to the waiting room to ask me a question. Finally, we set up our TikTok channel a couple years ago, and it's really taken off. If you want to follow us there, it's @ImmigrationHacking. Thanks so much, and we'll see you on the next video.